It's now 6:30. I'd like to call this City Council meeting of the City of Monessen to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Orchakowski. Here. Councilperson Thomas. Here. Councilman Nestor.
Present.
Councilman Greger.
Here.
Mayor Mosier.
Present. I want to ask our very own pastor, Lois Thomas, to lead us in prayer. Terry Johnson was unable to be here. He's ill today.
Heavenly Father, always first giving all honor and glory to you. We thank you, Lord, for this day that you have truly blessed us with. It's been a beautiful day, and we thank you for that. But Lord, we ask that you be with us now as we have this council meeting. May you guide us and lead us with your Holy Spirit to make us make wise decisions that are good for the furthering of Monessen, the city of Monessen and its residents. May we always do what is pleasing in your sight. Bless us now as we go forward. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to ask the council to review the minutes from the previous June 9th session and make a motion to accept them.
There's a correction.
Okay.
On page 11, underneath open floor and public comment on any item, it reads Assistant Fire Chief of Hilltop Number 2, requesting tax forgiveness for last year. That was the President, Number 1 Fire Department.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will change it.
Mayor, motion to accept the meeting minutes from June 9, 2022, and to make revisions and changes to President and to Number 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilman Nestor.
Aye.
Councilman Greger.
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosier.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to public comment on agenda items only.
Army Telegraph is 29 wrecks. Now, last month, the council went on a buying spree and bought printers, laptops, computers, and now I see you want to buy a dehumidifier for this building over here. Now, I was present towards the end when there was an inspector during the last administration, and he clearly made it known to the last administrator that it's a very unhealthy situation. It'll take much money to get rid of the buildup of mold, and he recommended to tear down the building. So what is the purpose of buying a humidifier for that building?
Well, that's very interesting. The report that I have indicated that there's only two places in that building that there's any issue. That is at the front door and by the wall in the back. And that mold is an issue that's resulting from moisture. The dehumidifier would be to correct some of that.
I agree, but if you recall, 5 people got sick over there. And then they ran to the hospital. Of course, the hospital's gonna label it COVID-19. But who knows, the sickness could have came from
The bottom
that.
line is, we don't have the money to tear it down. I don't want to be known as the person that let that go, become blighted. I want to see what we can do to correct it. We also have large numbers of files over there that need to be somewhere, and there's no place for them here.
Did you get bids on what it would take to clean that out?
The first thing is to put a dehumidifier there and to have somebody come in and reassess it. It's been over a year since that was done.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure you guys don't overspend.
Define Ernie, I'm curious, define to me a spending spree, would you please? Because I don't think you know the difference. And I'm just gonna say it, quite frankly. Because one laptop and one printer does not make a spree, and it was less than $1,000. So unless you live on 10 cents a day, and that would be a buying spree, please.
Okay, but there was a printer too, wasn't there?
I just said, there
Okay,
was a
printer?
printer,
Yeah.
and there was a laptop.
Okay, what
And it was
else?
less than $1,000 for both. And they were going out of business, which was even a 30% sale on top of it. And our city clerk was screaming for the last couple of weeks that she needed another printer, and we discussed putting a network printer up there. So please, again,
Okay,
I want you to tell everybody out here and everybody that's watching,
Who
where
got
do you
the-
think this spree went to?
Who got the laptop?
The city.
City administrator.
Administrator did.
The city
Because,
administrator got the laptop?
yeah, because guess what?
What?
In 2019, I bought a laptop for Judy, okay?
You bought
It
it?
was a new Dell,
Yeah?
okay? Are you with me so far? Got a new Dell, we spent about $600-700. What happened in January of 2021, of 20?
Well, you know.
No, what happened? Matt came in with
Diamond.
everything, right? We haven't found that laptop yet. It's city property, but
Did-
nobody seems to know where it is.
Didn't you guys have video over there? You can't see?
That's also missing, by the way.
Yeah, that's not missing, that's not my
They take
point.
the camera too.
My point is, Ernie,
Well, it's just like,
no.
it's like, wait a minute, then we bought other stuff,
What did we buy?
equipment, well, for the,
No,
for the people
I
that
want
work.
you to be specific. I don't want to hear you rambling on.
All I know is every month, you guys are doing a lot of purchase.
No, every month I challenge you, we're not doing any purchasing. So your 10 minutes of fame is up. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way.
At this point, I'd like to read a proclamation. Is there any other questions on agenda items only? Okay, I want to try to keep this thing moving here pretty good. On Sunday was Juneteenth, and on Friday they had a Juneteenth celebration at the boat launch. At that time, I read a proclamation. I want to reread that here now. I think it's very appropriate. It was a couple days early when I read it the first time. It's a couple days late the second time, but it's still appropriate. This is a proclamation on the occasion of June 19th, 2022, whereas President Abraham Lincoln inscribed the Emancipation Proclamation at 2 o'clock in the afternoon of January the 1st, 1863, using his powers as president, and whereas the Emancipation Proclamation stated that all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of the state, especially the rebellious southern states, are and henceforth shall be free, and whereas despite being freed on January the 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation could not be enforced in many places until the end of the Civil War in 1865, and whereas on June 19th, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and his Union forces arrived in Galveston, Texas, and delivered Order Number 3, which said, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. The connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor, and whereas slavery, as we have come to know it, entered American shores at Point Comfort, Virginia in 1619, making a bloody and heart-wrenching period of America's history. And whereas after the end of slavery and a failed period of Reconstruction, Jim Crow laws and systematic formalized government-sponsored segregation and racist laws and practices prevailed in full force until the Civil Rights Movement and subsequent laws of the 1960s, and where despite all these advancements, our country as a whole is still dealing with multi-generational effects of slavery and systematic racism. And whereas Juneteenth is a day of celebration and remembrance to mark the freeing of slaves at the end of the Civil War, and whereas on June 17, 2021, Juneteenth became a federal holiday, with President Biden signing the Juneteenth National Independence Day into law. And now, therefore, I do declare June 19, 2022, a celebratory day of Juneteenth with this proclamation and a reminder that we have all so much work to do in terms of racial justice and equality, and our work begins in our own backyards, for we are brothers and sisters keepers. That said, I also have just a little tribute I want to read.
Can I just say one thing? I think we should just recognize Julian Napier and his committee. They did an excellent, fantastic job for their celebration down at boat launch. I don't think you could have asked for anything more. They had so much for the kids. Even Marcia from the library, and Jessica from Family Center, they made sure they donated a huge water slide for the kids. It was a big hit, but they had vendors, they had food, and music. It was just wonderful, and I think we just should, whenever you see them, and I don't know who all his committee was, but they did a fantastic job for the Juneteenth celebration. And then even following that day on Saturday, there was a church from California that one of the West daughters lives in California, but her church came in from California, and they had another fantastic event down at the Eastgate Fire Hall. Just events for the kids, a worship service and singing, just gifts and prizes, just a way to bring the community together, and just letting them know that with the presence of God can be anywhere. You can take it anywhere. So it was not only good for Christians, it was good for the community coming together as one. And I think there are just so many things that are happening in Monessen to bring the city together as one, and I just think it's a fantastic idea, and we should just keep it going.
Just a quick little reminder, on July the 30th, we will have a fireworks display at the boat launch in the evening after the sun sets, but we're going to start the day off with a fishing tournament. So it's a day for us all to get together once again and enjoy the summer and have a good time. So I want to say something about Nusaki Pizza Shop. They are closed. And that's really what I'm trying to get at. Nusaki Pizza Shop was started by my Nana, Kasamana Nozaki, in 1952. My Nana started making homemade lasagna and ravioli. She then wrote a recipe in Italian for the dough and pizza sauce. Casamia and my mother, Mary Sazak, uncles and cousins mixed the dough in a wash tub, and they did this until the 60s. That is when my brother, Lenny Sazak, and I started mixing the dough. My Nana Casamina passed in 1964. That is when my mother, Mary Sazak, took over the pizza shop. She ran it in the 60s and 70s. That was when 3 slices and a pop were 75 cents. In the 80s, they had closed lunch hour, but the kids still came for lunch. Due to health problems, Mary Sasak had to retire. My family, wife, and myself took over the shop. That was when we started the FedEx pizza shells all over the country. In 2002, my wife, Patricia Cunningham, and I took over the shop. Mary Sasak passed in November of 2002. For 21 years, my wife and I ran the shop until my health took a turn for the worse. We ended on a good note, so after 70 years, thank you. That was a letter written by, I'm not sure which of them, but obviously one of the Nizakis, I assume. Okay. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to our solicitor for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Over the last 2 weeks, the primary thing that I participated in was the Planning Commission meeting. This was their first look at the new zoning ordinance. They went through quite a bit of the ordinance. They will have likely at least one more meeting, possibly more. Again, this is a complete amendment to the ordinance, and there are some pretty serious issues with the current ordinance and use of property. Their next meeting will be July 7th. It is a public meeting, and people are allowed to attend. Once they go through the ordinance, they're comfortable with it, they will make a recommendation to council. Council will have its own public hearing process as well. The first step is well on its way, though. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Our city treasurer is absent today, but he did give his report earlier in the month. So I'll turn it over to our city controller if she has anything to add to her previous report.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of council, I was reviewing the agenda, and I saw where there's a request that's going to be made to open a new checking account for the garbage. And my question is, why do we feel that that's necessary when there's up-to-date information and the financials under QuickBooks? And I checked with our city clerk today, and she was able to give me an up-to-date report on the garbage collections. And the thoughts that I have, whether you agree or not, is that why do we need to purchase checks and deposit tickets to do something where the money could be deposited in the general fund, and it's specifically stated for the garbage collection and not for anything else? So that's my thoughts on the new account. And in addition to that, the garbage is not a tax, so that it's just a fee. So if it were a tax, it definitely would have its own checking account. But because it's a fee, there's no problem with that money being put into the general account. The other thing is, in regards to that information, I do have an up-to-date report on the garbage collections that was given to me. And we have made all the payments up and through last month. However, it's a quarterly that we pay directly to the Mon Valley Refuse Authority. And we still have a balance that's needed by December the 1st to pay the total garbage invoice, and that amount that we owe is $52,765.89. In the event that that money does not come in, that we don't have that amount, then we would be taking money from the general fund and use it to pay that invoice. And then so if we would have two separate accounts, that means we would have to take money from the general fund, deposit it into the garbage account, and then when the money comes in from the garbage for the following year, then we would have to make the transfer back into the general fund. So it seems to be that this is just an additional burden that's placed on our employees that really isn't necessary. But that's just my thoughts on that situation.
Okay, thank you. I think that was at the request of our chief financial officer, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Is there anything else?
No.
Thank you. I'd like somebody to make a few motions here for me.
We'd like to make a motion to place a sign at 6 and Knox commemorating the over 70 years of business of Nizaki Pizza Shop in the city of Monessen and renaming the area Nizaki Way in their honor.
Second, Mayor.
Is there any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
We'd like to make a motion to award the McKee to 4th Street roadway rehabilitation project to the lowest responsible bidder, El Grande Industries, Inc., for the lump sum cost of $154,425. upon receipt of the required insurance and bonding.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Fair Housing Resolution Number 8 of 2022 that delineates that discrimination in the sale, rental, leasing, financing, or construction of housing is prohibited by Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, the Federal Fair Housing Act, and resolves that the City of Monessen will assist all persons who feel that they have been discriminated against because of race, color, sex, national origin, religion, familial status, handicap, age, or ancestry.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution Number 9 of 2022 as a resolution of the City Council of the City of Monessen approving a statement of goals in compliance with the National Program for Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprises, Executive Order 11625, for the City of Monessen, PA, and to promote the total volume awarded to minority or women-owned businesses to approximate the goals set forth under this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye. This
Like-
next motion, I'd kind of like to, you read it, but I'd kind of like to see it tabled, but go ahead.
We'd like to make a motion to pay for repairs of International Truck, Model 7400 SFA 4x4, currently in the service of the Monessen Public Works Department by Hill International Trucks, N.A. LLC, in the amount of $12,971.42.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Let me just point out something. This truck is not required until the snow hits. They have other trucks that they can hire. They can haul gravel and like what that they're doing during the summer. It's my opinion that we need to defray this cost as much as we can until we actually need it.
Question, Mayor. Is this vehicle just like the other vehicle? If it waits too long, would it mess with the pumps or anything of that nature? Like
Not according to what Hill has said, although it is already in need of an inspection, and they did indicate that this $12,971 is likely to go up pending the inspection.
And you are correct in saying, I talked to Rodney, and he says, as long as they have it sometime by September, or just before the snow, before the snowfall can be expected, they should be okay. So they're okay with that.
Okay? Well, call the roll.
Motion.
So I thought you were gonna
Well-
table it.
I would like to table. Do we need, how's that? Chris?
Well, you need a motion to table it.
Like a motion to table for the repairs of International Truck until later on in the fall.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
No.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
We'd like to make a motion to pay for repairs to VACCON truck water pump, #GP 7145 to Hydro Service, Inc., in an amount of $16,910.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
Like a motion to create a separate bank account within the account structure of the City of Monessen for a refuse bank account, with all collections, deposits, and transactions relative to refuse and garbage collection activities being a part of this account structure.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions?
Why? Why? Why do you need a separate account?
Because we're collecting a separate thing. It's not to be, it should technically not be used for anything but the garbage tax.
That's not true.
Yes, it's true. Then why are we should have something?
It's not a garbage tax, by the way, it's a garbage fee. We're going to create a separate account then for,
No, we want to create a separate account for this because that's where all the money should go. And it doesn't leave that account unless it's going for pay the garbage fees. In the past, and I'm not going to say where, who, when, and why, that money has been pilfered and used for payroll forever.
pilfered? You mean stolen?
All right, correct it, if you want to get charismatic about it.
No, I'm going to be correct about it.
Let's
There
be
was no
correct.
money, there was no money pilfered.
All right, Mr. Greger, you're perfectly right,
I am.
once.
Okay, come on, let's maintain order here.
The bottom line is, we wanted to keep the garbage money separate, that's all.
We're going to do that with code enforcement too? Create a separate account? Anytime you feel like it, we'll create a separate account?
No, we're going to create a separate account for this.
Well, go right ahead, but it's a
And it
waste of
won't be
time and money.
used- And the idea is not to be used for payroll, where it has been used unfortunately in the past. The city needs to stand on its own where it's collecting its money. And it doesn't do that. That's all.
It will
Let the
show a
vote
clear,
fall- Let the vote fall where it falls. If it doesn't,
Well,
it
the
doesn't.
vote will fall where it's going to fall, and I'm aware of that. However, I think you're just, well, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's not a spending spree, Ernie. It's foolishness is what it is.
okay, let's call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
No.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
We'd like to make a motion to purchase and create a debit card for the city of Monessen with the community bank based upon a general fund account of the city of Monessen for necessary transactions with a limit of spending of $1,000 per day. The card will be utilized by Council Finance Director Anthony Orzakowski and City Administrator Michael Korposh for all necessary and required purchases requiring the utilization of a debit card under the current fiscal spending policies and procedures of the city of Monessen.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
I'd like to make a suggestion at the advice of the solicitor that we really ought to restrict this to Michael Korposh because you are the chief financial officer.
That's fine with me.
That would lead to potential in the future of something we may not desire. So I'd like to scratch the,
Mike will be the one that has it anyways and should be using it.
right. And just so everybody understands, right now we get paper, just as an example, a case of paper, I think is $60-some a case of paper from the outfit we're doing now. If we order it from Sam's Club, it's $25 a case. There's a big difference. There's a lot of savings. We go through a lot of paper. But that's just one of many things that happens that we need to really explore ways of getting things more competitively priced.
Well,
Do we need to reread this with that change?
So the-
They need to rewrite.
You can make the motion to amend.
Yeah, to amend it with the card will be utilized by.
Question. Comment. City Administrator Michael Korposh. Say Mike leaves next week. I don't want you to, Mike. Say you do, and we bring someone else in, we're going to have to read this again. Should that just not be City Administrator?
Why don't somebody make a motion to amend, to say the city administrator to omit Mr. Orchakowski? That way, the city administrator will get to use the credit card from here until you get rid of the credit card.
Or change it?
Wait, so do you want me to just read it with the changes?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to make a motion to purchase and create a debit card for the city of Monessen with a community bank based upon a general fund account of the city of Monessen for necessary transactions with a limited spending of $1,000 per day. The card will be utilized by city administrator. Should I say his name? That's okay. That's what I thought. For all necessary and required purchases requiring the utilization of a debit card under current fiscal spending policies and procedures of the city of Monessen.
Okay, we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any questions, Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to purchase a dehumidifier to address mold issues at 557 Donner Avenue, and to also advertise and schedule a follow-up inspection with an appropriate professional to provide an assessment of the mold and water issues at the structure at the present time. The pricing for 3 potential dehumidifier units and for 3 potential professional site visits to examine the facility will be provided to City Council for their approval.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? I got one. Do we have to go out to advertise that?
That's up to council's discretion. It depends on what the prices are. It may be under the quotation threshold. I don't think we know that yet.
The average price is, according to the Google, is about $680 a test. So I don't know.
I think I would prefer, I would prefer to have it advertised and have people actually have to submit a bid in for it. That
Okay,
way,
fine.
there's no questions about
All
who's
right.
coming and who's going.
It
That's
won't
fine.
be a bidding process. It'll be a request for proposals.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call the roll. We had
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
yes.
Would like to make the motion to advertise for a deputy code enforcement officer within the city of Monessen with salary based upon qualifications and experience.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Yes, when you say salary, are we going to offer a monthly salary, yearly salary, hourly rate
I was also thinking of using this officer as a part-time person as well.
for part-time?
For part-time, I was thinking part-time, but I mean, I don't know we can do full-time at this time, but I know I'm drowning right
I
now.
would like to point out that our current code officer brought in $90,000 yesterday.
That's
Just
good.
He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. And I'd like to point out that code enforcement is not a job to bring in money, but rather to enforce code. But in the course of him enforcing code, he struck a deal with the power company that does the telephone poles that resulted in a $90,000 check to Monessen.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. However, again, is it going to be hourly rate or is it going to be a salary?
I'll leave that up to you, John.
I was thinking hourly, and I was thinking part-time.
Okay?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I just want clarification,
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah.
Should read that.
Amend the motion to advertise for a deputy code enforcement officer within the city of Monessen, hourly, based on hourly pay, part-time, and upon qualifications and experience.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I'd like to make a motion to forego retap fees for Dominico's on Grand 1562 Boulevard, Monessen, PA, to replace an old tap to the sewer line that is no longer functional.
Could I have a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
We'd like to make a motion for the second reading and final passage of amendment of ordinance 1254, the line usage fee per rate payer.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes. There should have been a motion to accept that, right? Okay. That was final passage. Okay.
That was the final.
All right. This is a long agenda, so I'm not going to go into a lot of different things. But as the solicitor talked about, we did have a planning and zoning meeting. That is something that really kind of shapes what Monessen's going to look like. And it needs to take into account many different things. Something that just occurred to me that looking in the future and the life of this zoning thing, we need to think about EV cars and autonomous cars and so forth. How they're going to park and how they're going to be treated. So there's some big issues that need to be worked through with this. The other thing that I did was in the course of, and this could get to be long, and I don't want it to be long, so I'm going to try to be very brief and quick. We're still working with the county in order to remove blight within the city, and they're still talking that they're going to remove some 45-50% of the blight in Monessen. And I want to do this in the areas where they're really targeting it, which is some of the more depressed areas of town, but I want to do it in areas where it makes the biggest improvement to the neighborhoods. The point being is, these houses that we have that are in amongst the blight that are being lived in, and they keep their yard nice and neat, and the house looking good from the front. What's that house going to look like when we remove all the blight from around it? I don't know. Maybe it's just fine, but I suspect that we're going to find many of them. They're going to need things like new siding, new shingles on the roof, something. The bottom line is, my vision was that we need to have people like HUD, like United Way, like the County Housing Authority, like all these different agencies that have grants, such that we can approach these people with people that are trained to work with these grants, such that they can sit down with them, talk to them, determine which grant fits them, help them fill out the grant, and then help them educate them and get them where they can use that grant to improve their place. The bottom line is, removing blight is not the end of all ends in Monessen. We've got to do something to improve the general overall quality of life for the residents that are going to be here after we get rid of all the blight, and that's part of that plan. The other thing is that I've been working with Tamika in the accounting section of the city to come up with to refine our procedures. We have some very controlled procedures right now that if anybody wants to buy anything, they have to submit a requisition. It goes through our CFO and then is approved and goes through to our accounts receivable payables clerk. The point being is there are software that's really made that really controls this very well and allows for a lot more information to be kept such that we can do this much more efficiently. And I don't think it's going to be very expensive. We're talking something in the neighborhood of $100 to $200 a month to do it. And it would really provide a lot of information and simplify and yet reinforce our procedures. We will make a joint presentation to council once we've got all the bids in, and everybody will get to see what we're talking about. That's all I really had. If anybody has any questions, they're welcome to talk to me after we get through with the rest of the motions. In which case, I get to turn over to Councilman Ordenchowski.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to remove $61,628.79 from the general fund to the payroll account.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion to pay invoices from the general fund in the amount of $37,423.53. The invoices are referenced and attached in the packets as attachment A.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
A motion to pay invoices from the recreational account in the amount of $298.19. The invoices are referenced and attached in the packet as attachment B.
Is there a second?
Second. You can have it.
No.
Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Aye.
I have a motion to pay invoices from the Parks Fund in the amount of $1,413.68. The invoices are referenced in the attached packet as attachment C.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I have a motion to pay invoices from Liquid Fuels Fund in the amount of $35,831.79. Invoices are referenced and attached in the packet as attachment D.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Aye.
I have a motion to pay invoices from the line usage fund in the amount of $10,175. The invoices are referenced and attached in the packets as attachment E.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I have a motion to pay invoices from the grant fund in the amount of $1,495. The invoices are referenced and attached in the packets as attachment F.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
And these are the current balances of the accounts. Grant fund is $63,389.78. American Rescue has a balance of $44,213.65. Debt service has a balance of $525,905.16. Liquid Fuels has a balance of $20,533.85. Parks Fund has a balance of $85,517. Debt service has a balance of $525,905.16. Healthcare account has a balance of $8,691. And payroll has a balance of $11,546.09. Fire escrow has a balance of $18,410.99. And I should have, there it is. And the general account has a balance of $876,937.56. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. I have a streets and a library report for you tonight. From the Streets Department for May of 2022, they got the garbage downtown twice a week. They answered over 100 PA1 calls, cold patched several streets, cut the city lots, had the street sweeper out when we weren't cutting grass, got the boat docks in and the bathrooms open, planted the flowers at the Eastgate Memorial. The Vector truck is still getting repaired and about to get out now that we approved that tonight. The 5-ton truck is still in the at Hilltop, and they help parks as needed. A library report for May 2022. The Library Board of Trustees have changed their meeting dates to the second Monday of each month, effective June 2022. The time and place remain the same at 5:15 at the library. The people counter for the month of May was 1,612 people. Their summer reading program club began on June 17th, and it will run until August 18th. The Monessen Elks Lodge number 773, they sponsored the entire summer reading club expenses. It was the first time that that club has been sponsored, and they just wanted to say thank you for their generosity and commitment to the city of Monessen. The library is an official feeding center for the Westmoreland County Food Bank. Breakfast and lunch are available for those up to age 18. There is no income requirement. And those are my two reports.
Thank you. Councilman John Nestor.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, administrative staff, citizens of Monessen, here is my following report for the Public Safety Department ending in May 31, 2022. Police Department receipts for the month of May 2022. Parking permits, $400. Miscellaneous collections are the following. Copies of police accident reports, $390. Meter bags, $18 for a total of $408. Correction receipts, court receipts from the District Justice Office. Vehicle code fines collected, $563.58. Crimes codes fines collected, $812.51. Code enforcement collected, $106.36. for the total receipt of $1,482.45. Total receipts collected for May 2022, $2,390.45. Current citations, total for the end of that month was 117, year-to-date 383. Code activity report for May 2022. Habitation permits 20, correction letters 73, animal complaints 13, miscellaneous complaints 6, citations 4, inspections 2, building permits 11, office meetings with residents 8, zoning permits 8, hearings 2. Here's the following report for the Mon Valley Emergency Medical Services. Emergency calls 178, fire standby 6, total incidents 184. Following report for the following report for the Monessen Fire Chief, Station 81. Automatic fire alarm 7, grill fire 1, wires down 2, trees down 3, smoke in a structure 1, natural gas leaks 2, vehicle accidents 4, EMS accidents assistance 3, chemical explosions 1, landing zones 3, public services 2, smoke scare 1, structure fire Shaw Lorry 3, physical rescue 1, building collapse Shaw Lorry 1, total calls 35, total responding 553, average responding per calls 15.85, total man hours 418 and 50 418 dot 50. Sorry, I'm just a little exhausted. Sorry, everyone. It's been a long day today. Before I end the report, I also wanted to go over the 2022 annual tenant licensing permits that are yearly. Working with the solicitor and the code office, I just wanted to go over to see about these charges and how we can maybe, in my opinion, lower them. I don't know if Mr. Delfonso, if you want to add anything into this, but
Mr. Nestor did provide a copy of the ordinance. These fees can be changed by a resolution, so council won't have to bear the cost of advertising.
Okay, so maybe you can work with Marvin to prepare the numbers that you want to do, and we'll do a resolution.
yeah, thank you. Because just to give you a little feedback, it's $250 per unit if the owner does not reside in the city of Monessen and does not have a designated property manager. Now, I understand we're trying to aim every rental to have a property manager that's outside the city limits. I mean, we need to have someone we can work with, but the $250 to me seems a little high. I mean, another thing is you think about $100 for someone who just owns a residence and they're in a surrounding area like Bell Vernon. I mean, it's just it's a little pricey, especially if you're just trying to make ends meet by just being a landowner. And another thing I've noticed in our office when back there working, we have a vacancy registration fee of $65 and a rental registry for $25. We have a lot of paperwork back there where people are saying there is someone occupying that residence, but really there isn't. So they're trying to circumvent, and that's $65 to me is a little high too. I mean, we need the manpower, but at the same time, though, I think code is very important, and we're not here to make money off of people's safety. Also, I wanted to discuss in my report on looking for maybe putting out some ideas, maybe advertising to help with the rodent issue that we have in the city of Monessen, to help grab rodents that are in the street that are causing issues, and ticks too. One of them, I've got 3 on me earlier last month, and it's scary. No one wants Lyme disease. But biggest thing that we're having is possums and raccoons. We need possums for one, but raccoons, I mean, that's our issue. Yeah. So I was wondering if we can maybe, I know as a work session type of thing, but maybe sit together and figure out how we can kind of come up with a solution together. It's just, that's one of our biggest complaints is just the rodents. I mean, I seen Denora starting to do some work over there, and wonder if maybe we can start to fall in line as that.
Yeah, also, it's been reported to me over at BG's here, behind the glass, inside the building, are pigeons. Pigeons have found a way to get inside the building. They moved over, but they figured out how to get inside that building. And that's just something that I think we really need to talk about.
Yeah. So, I don't know if anybody would be interested, maybe next meeting we can advertise or something like that for some type of rodent control. I mean,
Did you say snakes? Yeah, guess what? I came home from lunch yesterday, there was a dead snake outside of my house, and I think it came because they cut a house 2 streets up and the grass was really high, and it must have, I don't know if they sliced it, because when it was laying on and it had 2 slices in it, but it was dead on its back. But it wasn't a black garter snake either.
Well, mine was.
This was yesterday.
And it was alive.
Oh, well,
Crawling across my yard.
yeah, so we're going to Lowe's tomorrow to get snake away or whatever we need to get to put around the house. Yeah.
Well,
I think
let's
it's-
work together with Marvin and see if we can come up with some ideas and maybe present at the next meeting.
yes, Mayor, thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know how much, did Marvin ever say how much those black boxes cost? Because they worked, those really work. Those bait black boxes they were getting last year.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll have to double
Okay.
check on that. I noticed too, we're not allowed to actually use the blue rat poison.
Right,
which
that's why they switched to the black
Yeah, I
boxes.
actually like that rat poison, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's just.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate that.
Let's see, there's one motion on your list there.
Yes. Motion to pass amendment of chapter 300 of the City Code of Ordinances, the Quality of Life Ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? I'll call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
I would say, I'd like to thank everyone for bearing with me during that long reading, and I yield the floor, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Dunn, Gregor.
Parks Department report for May 2022. They cut the city parks and ball fields, got the pavilions ready for events, which they did a very nice job. Fixed minor brakes on the tractors, helped the streets department as needed. That concludes my report, with the exception of, I was out looking at the batting cages. And it would be my recommendation that we build one instead of buying some of those flimsier ones. I went to look at the ones up at City Park, and it was 10-foot tall chain link with netting on the top. The one that we have at Columbus Park is 6x6 timbers that are over 10 feet tall with netting over that. And also, when I look at the ones at the Washington, Washington Township ballparks, and they were, again, chain link with post in the ground, and then they had netting over the top of them. I just feel that it would be better if we brought in a fencing company, got some quotes, because it'd be much more substantial. You can see the damage that's being inflicted on these batting cages. I just would feel that if we just got the less expensive ones, they wouldn't last. So I think we should look into getting quotes to get one made.
Okay.
We can contact some fencing companies.
Can you make a motion for that for next meeting?
I'll make a motion at the next meeting.
Thank you. I'm impressed. We had a 7-page agenda, and we're down to open floor for public comments. We actually went through this fairly quick.
Okay, I just want to ask one simple question. How many of you people here are selling tickets for Kennywood? Because doesn't anybody get behind a community
Oh,
event?
absolutely. Communities That Care is the one that's running that project.
Okay,
And
but shouldn't the council people have some sort of,
I want to buy some.
how many you want to buy? I'll go over there and bring the tickets.
Question, Ernie, are you selling any tickets as well?
No, but I'm promoting.
Oh,
good. And-
thank you.
I mean, they got amount to something.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
it is a big deal, and I think that the community ought to get behind that and promote it.
Yeah, you guys should show up to it, Kennywood.
Are you going there?
Are
I'm
you
gonna
going there?
go. You guys are gonna go. Yeah. I gotta keep it straight, even over there.
Good idea, Ernie. Anything else?
No cash, remember.
Thank you, Ernie.
Chris Paglia, 1101 Graham Avenue. Thank you, Mayor Moser, members of council, citizens. I just wanted to give a very brief update on the Madison Memorial Park progress that we've been able to make. I've mentioned it on social media, but I want to say it publicly. Thank you to Rodney, to Dee, to all members involved for getting so much of this going and so quickly. It's been fantastic. The work has been amazing. And just being able to reach out and work with these guys has been wonderful. If you haven't been up to the park, the flagpole is in. It's a wonderful 25-foot flagpole. The department provided the flag as well, so that was fantastic. The Madison family, Norman Madison in particular, are exceptionally happy with the progress that we've made. Over the last week or so, Councilperson Thomas and I have talked a little bit about putting a permanent sign up, but not so much a welcome sign. The idea that I had that I floated past Councilperson Thomas, the Madison family, some of the people that we've been sharing information with, is to put an informational sign near the flagpole. It would be 4 feet tall by 8 feet wide. It would essentially be broken up into 3 sections. The far left section would tell the story of Tony Madison, his life, not only as an Army soldier, but also as a Greyhound. The middle section would tell the story of Desert Storm, Desert Shield, give people a little bit of information so when you're walking the park, when you're sitting on the benches, walk over to the sign and learn a little bit. And then the far right section, the far right third, would be about the 14th Quartermaster Corps unit from Greensburg, who lost the most casualties of any single unit in Operation Desert Storm. So right now, I'm currently working with Mon Valley Signs and Ludi Advertising. I was hoping to have a board to just kind of show you, but the one thing that they do is they put it on this, I'm gonna pass it around, it's an acrylic, and it's etched in the back of the acrylic, and this doesn't have this does not have the glare-resistant material on it, but the material for the sign itself would have glare resistance so that it would last up to 15 years so that people would be able to, again, continue to see that. Right now, they're drawing up a proposal. I was hoping to have it tonight. I apologize for not being able to have that this evening. But it would basically sit 3, maybe 4 feet off the ground, and it would be tilted, kind of like the one sign is out here for Monessen and the steel industry. So again, I can't thank everybody enough. It's been fantastic, and from when we renamed the park on February 26th until now, it's just been really, really amazing. So thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Always wrong.
Joe Altamar, 1005 Wilson Street, Monessen, downtown fire chief. We've been trying to get our insurance claim paid. 5 more days, the truck's out of service. It's the biggest pumper in town, 2,000 gallon a minute, over $2,100. Steve was here last month. Everybody said a motion we made to pay it, and Yuns would wait on the payment. We spent how much money tonight? No fire truck.
Well, as we discussed with council, Dawn, I don't know if you're aware, I talked to our fire chief as well. Bowser is going to come down and have to look at the vehicle one more time, as I discussed with Mike. We have had a discussion. We have no, you spoke to Tom. There's no issue with them holding that vehicle if we don't pay. They're going to give it back to you.
Well, we
So,
talked to Bruce Steyer, the general manager of the fleet services today. 2133.31, the estimate's still good.
Yeah,
Are we
so
going
why
to,
don't
ju-
you-
are we going to just tell them
I'm
to take the
tell-
truck
take the-
down there and get it
And
fixed?
take it, that's what I'm saying.
Just
That's
take
what
and get it
That's what I've been
fixed.
trying to say, but Joe, you told me before you're afraid, and I completely understand, you're afraid of being stuck there. They're fine with releasing the vehicle for us while waiting for payment.
Well, then let's get the truck
That's why,
fixed.
thank you.
Ain't doing it.
They aren't gonna fix it?
They're-
Are they guaranteed gonna put it in writing that they're gonna give that truck back? I mean, the residents of Monessen are dependent on that truck. That's the biggest truck in town.
Spoke with Tom, who's the head of their shop today. He indicated that the 92631 that's currently, that I informed him of, in the general fund can be utilized to pay that bill, and there'll be a supplement paid by the insurance company, but he will not hold up the truck being fixed and returned to you until we do that with the insurance company and finalize that. You know, Chief, that's been the issue for months with this and the insurance company,
I just can't
but we don't want to
understand
keep it out of service. And
why the city of Monessen wouldn't pay the bill and wait for the insurance company to pay Yunus. I don't get it.
Well,
Well, they've got it taken care of. You take the truck down there, get it
Would
fixed.
you do that? Would you take
Absolutely.
your personal vehicle on the word?
I
The
I
money's
would,
gonna
based
come in?
on the word of these guys, and if we have to get something in writing, we will.
I would appreciate something. The president might not release it. I mean, Steve's, whenever I was satisfied with the decision he
Right.
made, he said, I'm not.
Right.
He said, I'm gonna come down there and they can tell me face to face. I mean, I can't understand this. You heard how many man hours of people that put their lives on the line every month for this town.
And very cognizant of that, Chief, and
And-
you know that.
Who said they wouldn't release the truck?
Steve, he isn't gonna send a truck out of service to a fleet shop and then if they don't release the truck. You're
It's
not
not-
gonna do work.
And
not get
we've
paid.
talked to these people, and they say they will release the truck?
As I
We're
indicated.
guaranteeing payment. The city of Monessen's guaranteeing payment,
Well,
correct?
we want it paid out of the supplement of the insurance company. That's the key, Don, was what we, Councilman, what we want here. And we don't want either the city or the fire company to be in that position to have to pay that. You're not gonna be.
And is there any way that we can pay for it while we're waiting for the insurance company to?
Well, that's a council decision.
What's
That's,
the difference between whatever's there and how much totals owed?
well, it would be 92631 that's currently in the general fund, and you're telling me now that the bill is 2,000 and change?
The
Because
first
that went up.
estimate was $1,426.31.
Okay,
The $900 minus the city's $500 contribution is where that came from. That was paid to the city in January.
that is in the current general fund, right,
Since January, the price of parts is, everybody knows,
We-
has doubled
right.
how many times?
Right.
That's why we're at $2,133.
okay.
Had it been fixed in January, we wouldn't have this problem. Now the truck is out of inspection in 5 days, 5 business days, and I can't get it inspected with the door falling
But
off.
you understand, you settled the claim for 926.
I didn't settle anything.
Well, the city of Monessen, and this was prior to me coming on board, settled the
I
claim.
totally understand that.
Okay,
Here's the thing, you guys have a purchase order system. If they're not gonna release the truck, you can go through the purchase order system and get the truck back if you have to.
absolutely,
Yeah,
Jay, yes.
it's not gonna be held up.
As
We
long
can
as
pay for
council
it.
approves that, right,
Yeah.
yes,
And no one wants the truck out of commission, so I don't
No.
see anyone on here who would say no to that.
right.
I mean, but how come nothing was brought up tonight about it when last council meeting, Steve stood up here and you can watch it on TV that said it would be handled at this meeting?
And it was handled this week to work with them at Bowser to get the agreement, to get the truck in there and get it fixed. Well,
But the information wasn't transferred to him.
The thing is, it's the money. If you work on my house and you hold my car hostage until you get paid, nobody works for free. That's what we're scared of.
well, the discussion today, and I can get it in writing with Tom of the shop today. I don't know who you talked to, you're saying.
Bruce Schneier.
Well, Bruce is their fleet, and he does the collision estimates for that. Tom's the manager of the entire shop.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's who we talked to and said, he said the truck didn't have to go back today. The estimate's still good.
All right, well, then that's fine, then you gotta get it in for the service and get it done, so you can get it inspected prior to the end of the month, is what we're trying to do. Tom, the service head, said, I'm not holding that truck. If, you bring it in, we'll work out the payment situation and get it back on the road.
Mike, can you get it in writing?
I can,
Yeah, I mean, I would
Get it
feel
in writing,
comfortable. I mean,
please.
I can.
You can ask the fire chief. We depend on that truck every day. And if it's sitting there,
I'm aware that you depend on
you
it.
table another, like you tabled the
No,
dump
no,
truck.
no, we don't, and we can't, because the end of the month is coming, so we recognize it.
Neither am I, Anthony.
Just I'm telling you as director of finance, take the truck, get the damn thing fixed. We got a bill, I'll authorize it, we'll pay it, council will do it, it's done.
Okay,
I don't know what this all has.
This doesn't need to be
pigeonhole, just take the truck down.
Yeah, that's what I can't understand. It's just.
The only thing, I will say this, the only thing that frustrates me is, this is June. This happened when?
January.
No, it happened before that, am I correct?
Well, yeah, it was,
7/3.
What's that?
This happened 7/3 of 2021.
right,
It's almost a year.
right.
Try to get an estimate and a commitment from somebody to fix a truck during COVID. It went 7/3, municipal fire chief was contacted. 7/5, Pidich Auto was contacted. 8/5, Pidich couldn't do the work. 8/10, contacted Marcos. He couldn't do the work. 12/20, went to Bowser, got an estimate. Filed it with John Harhide. Now, John's gone. 2/28, contacted Mike.
Yeah, we're not here, we're not gonna,
When was the check issued for the insurance claim?
In January?
113.
113, that was released to the city,
Yes,
and it was put in the general account?
yes.
That's all I can give you information that I was told.
Yeah, so you really didn't have an estimate until into December of last year?
Right.
Nobody would work on it?
Right.
That's going to be my concern with the dump truck too, that we're going to put this repairs off, and then the price is going to increase dramatically. But,
Well, thanks for your time. I just hope we can.
no, please take the vehicle down there. Thank you for
Just do
stopping
it.
down
Just get it
too,
down.
chief. Thank you, just take it down there. Cool.
Yeah,
You're-
like I said.
When we can always take it down.
Okay, we'll do that. You're gonna get a letter of commitment?
It doesn't matter right now. He
He's
said
gonna
he
pay it,
committed.
he's gonna pay it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, letter of
I don't need a
commitment.
commitment letter, I'll just have the check dated, that's it.
I've got 30 witnesses.
That's right, Lynn.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about? In which case, I'd like to,
there's Linda.
oh, Linda.
I just got one question.
Who are you, Linda? Who are you?
Everybody, Linda
But-
Lacy, 1624 Maple Avenue. My question is, when Councilman Nestor said that he was gonna get something to treat the tick issue. and-
I would like, we need to, look around and see what's going around.
And that's fine too, but don't you do our parks
For what?
for insects and rodents?
I don't
No.
believe so.
No, you can't do that.
No.
You can't
You
do
gotta-
that.
You spray yourself like I spray myself, that's,
If I take some insect spray after it's sprayed.
No.
Mayor, motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:37 PM.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.